Are we on the air?
You're now in the mix with The Corner Radio, hosted by Kill, banging nothing but classic hip-hop, soul, and R&B.
What's good, what's good, what's good? Y'all tuned into The Corner Radio, hosted by your man, Kill. I got my whole squad up here, effect with me today. D, what's good, fam?
What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Tony Romo got a broke back. I'm great. Jace, what's good with you, fam?
Ain't nothing, bro. Everything good?
Everything is good. My man Nick out in the ATL, what's good, fam?
All good, fam. All good.
All right, and my partner in rhyme, I got my man Vegas. What's going on, dude?
I don't have no kids being beat on in the background, but everything's good.
Good. All right, yo, y'all already know how we do. We jumping right into it. This week's show, you know, me and my man on Twitter the other day was talking about duos and everything like that, and I was just like, yo, who is the dopest duo? And in the way that I'm defining duo, because I know people say different things. Some people call a duo a group. I'm defining duo for this show, two MCs who rhyme. You know, now it could be two MCs and a DJ, like Run DMC had Jam Master Jay, or EPMD had DJ Scratch. Two people that rhyme. I want to define that because I know some people would say, well, Google and Primo was a duo, or Pete and CL. We're talking about the dopest duos, two MCs that rhyme. And I want to know from y'all, like, y'all favorites. Like, why did y'all pick them? So these aren't the most lyrical or who would win in a battle. This is just each person's top five and just me being intrigued to know, like, why did these people make your top five like that? So, Jace, you this is the first time you chopping it up with us. Who is your number five dopest duo?
Well, my number five, right out the gate, the infamous Mobb. You can see the progression from the infamous to Murder Music. Those three, if I had to gauge them, they're best in their catalog. Havoc came out the gate. I know Juvenile Hell was first, but the infamous was the first for me, my introduction to him. Production-wise, he hit a stride, and he didn't stop. And you can see his lyrical progression through the next three albums. Stand out for me on excuse me, on the infamous Survival of the Fittest. The Al Cone chop he took, those three piano notes, dope.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with Mobb Deep. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing really much more to say about that. D, who's your number five, man?
My number five is probably going to be, wow. I put my number five at, I think I'm gonna have to put my number five at Mobb Deep too.
Okay.
Yeah. My number five is gonna have to be Mobb Deep too. Out of my tops, yeah, because I mean, like, they were dope. They were dope, but compared to my other ones, you know, they weren't. I put them at number five, but yeah, infamous. I just think that was just the greatest album right there, the best one. Like, I heard Temperature Rising yesterday, and I felt like I was back in. Just back during that time when it first came out, like, yo, Temperature Rising just had the dopest beat, bro. Yeah. So that's my five.
All right.
That's my number five.
All right, I'll go next to keep the party going. I got Mobb at my number five too. You know what I mean? You know, for me, it was just the infamous. To me, was like the game changer because, you know, it was almost like Juvenile Hell. I almost felt like that was almost like their demo. You know what I mean? And you know, cats gotta keep in mind, what's so amazing to me about a lot of the 90s music is that these cats was teenagers making this kind of music. You know, these weren't grown, these are like little kids making this kind of music. When you think what the average 15, 16-year-old is doing nowadays, like these dudes making classic or making very well, you know, close to classic music. So Juvenile Hell, I mean, hit it from the back with the sickles, and I was like, I don't even know. And I don't know what the hell happened. They went through, I don't know if it was that young group, because the youngsters used to do it too. The youngsters came out, they was like little kids, and the next time I see them, they all look like Naughty by Nature, you know, with bald heads and everything. So, you know, I don't know what happened to Mobb Deep, but they went from hit it from the back to the fucking I'm gonna kill everybody in Queens, you know, like in the 2 year span. Like they went from party tunes to just murderers. But I mean, yeah, the Infamous. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, that's 5 mics. I could listen to that all day. Havoc. You know, I think that dude is one of those dudes that don't get a lot of credit for going from 0 to 100. You know, that dude went from like not producing to just literally flat out being one of the dopest producers in the game. You know, and he doesn't get a lot of love for his drums, but I mean, Havoc's snares were just, you know, my man Roots, a kid called Roots, who used to school me on making beats, used to call him pimp slap snares. Like, your snare's supposed to sound like a smack in his hoe, you know, and it would just be like, yo, Havoc just had those snares and everything like that, and Hell on Earth was crazy. I mean, those dudes just made dope music together. So Mobb is coming in at my number 5. Nick, who you got your number 5?
I'm gonna keep it going with Mobb Deep. The only reason they're not higher is because they kind of, you know, teetered out after Murder Music as a group.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then for me, Hell on Earth is the project for me, because I feel like it's like revisionist a little bit, but knowing that Q-Tip had more to do with the Infamous than I initially thought, I feel like Hell on Earth is really Havoc's sound. It's like he went in there by himself, knocked it out. Prodigy rhymes got better. Like, during that stretch, he was top 5 for me lyrically.
Yeah.
During that Hell on Earth phase, you know what I mean? So, yeah, Mobb Deep, that's number 5 on my list.
Yeah, and that's a good point you made too with the Hell on Earth. Just because I always talk about how, we'll talk about this more later, how cats just finally get into their bag and they understand it. So like you said, Hell on Earth was definitely, that was Havoc all in. You know what I mean? Because a lot of my favorite joints, and there's no slight to Havoc, a lot of my favorite joints off the Infamous were the Q-Tip joints. You know, was the, you know, the Temperatures Rising, the
Give Up the Goods.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Drink Away the Pain. So like you said, Hell on Earth was like Havoc being like, nah, this is all me. And, you know, that was it. Vague, who you got number 5, man?
It's not Mobb Deep.
You don't mess it up, B. We about to run a Boston out here, man.
It's not Mobb Deep. I'm going to go with Outkast. And
wow. Number 5?
Yeah, because
you already know they had on my list.
Well, yeah, we know. But nah, and I mean, this is top 5, so it's still, you know, it's still a number. But I was a late bloomer with Outkast. Like, you know, I always liked their singles, as far as, you know, Southern Playalistic and all of that. And when Elevators came out, I really loved that, but I only liked songs here and there. It wasn't until their 3rd album that I really started to get why people were big fans of this. You know what I'm saying? Because I could see, you know, like that it wasn't just about, you know, Cadillacs and the culture in Atlanta. It was some skill there. And actually that made me go back and listen to those earlier albums. And then I was like, oh, well, you know, I just wasn't really listening before. Because at that time and at that age, you know, I was really into the super lyrical rappers, you know what I'm saying, and the street stuff. So Outkast was just a different speed that I wasn't really trying to hear at the time. But as they went on, and Aquemini, that's what I meant to say. Aquemini is probably my favorite album, but I've loved everything they've done since then. I love the old stuff even more now. But I just don't love it more than the other 4 that I have on my list. So that's why.
All right, no doubt. I feel that. All right, well, going back to Jace, who's coming on your number 4?
Number 4, EPMD. Solid catalog. E-Double perfected the list. The laid-back flow. They had dope production, samples throughout that a lot of people revisited. What can you say, man? They get an A+. And it's just because of the 5 that I got that they number 4.
Right. Nah, I feel you on that. D, who you got up next?
Up next, I have De La Soul.
Okay.
De La Soul is up next for me at number 4. I mean, you already know their whole like their whole discography, right? But I 3 Feet High and Rising did something for me, like, because it was like it was like that new sound, and it was it was the way it was rhyming was so dope. Even though it was doing that Daisy Age type thing where everybody was trying to, you know, get into that whole, but the way they put words together and the way the tracks was done and Prince Paul was, it was just dope. And then Grind Date just took me to another level. I was like, I love Grind Date. I just love Grind Date. So yeah, they're my number. They're my number 4.
Yeah, they don't make my list, but I definitely, man, can you can't front on Daylight, man. Like, you know, and like you said, the Grind Date, I think a lot of people don't really give them credit for that, but I thought Grind Date was like maybe 4. I can't give it 5 mics, but I could definitely give it a strong 4.
Yeah.
Production on there, and De La Soul's Dead is probably my favorite. Love 3 Feet High, but yeah, you can't go wrong with no Daylight. Nick, who you got up for your number 4?
Number 4 for me is UGK, Underground Kings, Port Arthur, Texas. Wow. That's probably more so to do with where I'm from. Their music suited, it was like the soundtrack to the culture down there. It's like because you know, we don't have like the transit system y'all got up north, so everything is spread out. You gotta have a car. And that music was just perfect for that. Like Pimp C production, he used a lot of like church organs and stuff like that in his production. Bun B is an underrated rapper to me. Like if you listen to the first 3 albums, like Too Hard to Swallow, if you go from that to Super Tight, you hear how he got a little better. By the time Riding Dirty came, like Bun B was just snapping on every track, like undeniable. So like when most cats heard him with Jay-Z on the Big Pimpin', you know what I mean? They had already been superstars down here. They had already solidified their status to us.
Right. Yeah, and that's dope, man. I keep saying I gotta listen to some UGK, man. You know that. You know, it's to the point that I understood what Vegas was saying about not being in a place to hear Outkast. I just think, you know, anything down south to me outside of Outkast or Organized Noise, you know, I just looked at like Lil Wayne with them cheap album covers. You know how album covers used to look all cheap in the store and everything. Like, that's just was down south to me. So I never really opened my ears to UGK, but they killed it on Big Pimpin', and I mean, yo, I loved them on Outkast International Players. And
well, you right about most of the South. I'll admit that. Like for me, like UGK, 8-Ball, MJG, Scarface, of course, Outkast, and Goody Mob. That's about it. Right. Once you venture outside of that,
right, I
can't co-sign a lot.
Yeah, I just remember Master P having them ads in the Source, and it'd be like everybody had the same cover art. Me, every one of them had the same cover art. Like the just changed the name at the top in Photoshop. Like, man, come on, man. But it is what it is.
You had Snoop Dogg album cover like that when he went over there.
Yeah, come on, man. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta do better, Master P. You on the NBA team, and he ain't on the NBA team. He was hooping for the Hornets, I think, or whatever. But I'm like, you gotta come better with the album cover design. Yeah. Vegas, who you got up for number 4?
Now I got Mobb Deep. I a lot of the same things y'all said, with my favorite album being The Infamous. I think Murder Music I have as a close second because I felt like that was the album that rivaled The Infamous as far as probably song for song, and again, that was probably Prodigy's peak as an MC. Because, like, you know, Quiet Storm was on there. It was so much on Illustrious. I think that was on there. A couple of joints. But yeah, you know, like with Mobb Deep, it was Havoc's beats, that sinister sound that just matched Prodigy's. Just his tone, man. Come on, man. The dude said he'd throw a TV at you. Like, I mean, I know that was another album, but just things like that lift you off your feet like ski lift. Just to, you know what I'm saying, putting a little skill in the gangster rap, you know what I'm saying, instead of just talking about how much you're gonna murder somebody. So yeah, Mobb Deep's my number 4.
Yeah, and it's crazy you talk about that because Quiet Storm, I think P just lost his mind. Like that, spazzed the hell out on Quiet Storm. It was like, yo, you gotta be playing with me, this man. But the funny thing about how I forgot if it was Nick or Jay saying how they kind of flamed out. I blame Jay-Z, man. After that summer jam, never came.
That's what I was thinking, kid.
Yeah, jean jacket. Like I talk about they was like, you don't want to be the best contestant on that Summer Jam screen. That was serious, man.
Yeah.
Really, I don't think you know what I always compare that to? When Nick Anderson missed them free throws in game 1.
Yeah.
Nick never came back to being Nick again. And it's just
was never the same.
Prodigy was never the same.
That's the way it was with Pete. After that Summer Jam, like, yo, dude just flamed. Like, he almost like waved the white flag without knowing he was waving the white flag.
Yeah.
He was trying to still rhyme, but it wasn't that year, so.
Yeah.
And more on that, you know what messed me up about Mobb Deep? Because they performed at a club called Esso's in Atlanta. I'm a little dude. I'm only 5'8". These niggas shorter than me.
First of all, bro, you said that on Twitter. We ain't short. 5'8".
We short, bro.
We ain't short, B.
We short, bro.
Kevin Hart is short, okay? Kevin Hart is short. We are not.
Kevin Hart is a kid. He kid height.
They are really some short dudes. They came to my hotel one time down in when I was working in Annapolis, yo, and I swear I don't think they was looking over the front desk, yo, for real.
They little. Like, have it real. He like 5'2".
Don't tell me they could even hit the damn bell to get the bellhop out,
man. Son, they was so short, yo. They was little dudes, yo.
Wow, right? Not being able to look over the front desk.
I think you would acknowledge that a little. They could look over the front desk.
Oh, come on, man.
I mean, come on. They had to be able to look over the front desk. That's like Naomi can't look over the front desk.
Hey, yo, I'm dead serious, yo, because they walked in through the side. They came in through the side door, and I was like, who are these little boys coming in here? And security was like, yo, they know one of your front desk agents. So I walked down, and hey, yo, Lauren, and I was like, yo, Mobb Deep. He like, what's up, man? What's going on? And they was like mad short, yo, and I was like, y'all are really smart to be talking all that tough talk.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look at how many times Prodigy done got robbed and got snuffed.
That's what I was talking about, man.
You know one thing I do love about P? He made getting beat up one of the dopest lines I ever heard. I forgot what rhyme it was from, but he was like, yeah, Keith Murray, yeah, you snuffed me in front of the cops, that bullshit. And it was like, yo, this dude just admitted to getting snuffed, but then tried to flip it like you punched me in front of the cops. So that was a sucker move, but I'm not even gonna go down my P thing because it's already been documented on the internet. Like, people think I don't like P. Has nothing to do with that. So we're gonna keep it moving off of my P. My number 4, Smif and Wessun. Now, most people may be thinking, how the fuck they come in at number 4 and they only got one album? I get that. Yo, that The Shining to me is probably one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time. I mean, literally. I'll definitely say hip hop. I don't want to say every genre. It's definitely top 20 in every genre. Yo, I love this album. Like, Tech and Still to me had that chemistry to me that I just don't think maybe EPMD comes close to it, but just in my opinion, those two dudes they connected. Like, when we talk about Hav and P, I thought they was dope, but I never really sensed the chemistry between them when they rhyme. Like with Smif and Wessun, I felt like it was just like one voice, like, you know, just coming at you. And I was reading about the making of The Shining, and they were saying how they would even rhyme on the same mic at the same time. And for cats who really don't do recording, that's really unheard of, because it's normally like, you know, I'll go in the booth, then Vegas will go in the booth. And what I loved about Smif and Wessun is like every third verse, they would come in together and do it, kind of like EPMD-ish. But normally, if you're in the booth, you say your part, then you'll count the 8 bars and then go to your next part, and then your man will come in. They would just do it together. And the Shining is just, man, an incredible album. And I just dropped this boot camp mixtape, and I think listening to that for the past 2 weeks just really got me back into it. Like, the songs on here, I mean, there's not one song on here that I don't like. You know what I mean? Like, every song on here is just bananas to me. And Nick, I thought about you when I was making this pick, because I know your thing is always, how is Kane one of the top 5 MCs ever? And this dude only had out 2 albums. You know what I'm saying?
Two albums.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 2 good albums.
Yeah.
2 good albums, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's like those 2 albums was so great that it's just a testament to just that. Like, some people don't need to have 10 albums in their discography to dope. And I feel like that's what it was with Smif and Wessun. I mean, these dudes was rhyming over freaking just the 2 of us. Yeah. I want to say around the same time Will Smith had a song out. talking about his son, with just the two of us. But made it Brooklyn. I mean, that's probably one of my favorite Smif and Wessun songs, especially videos. Definitely one of my favorite videos. But so Smif and Wessun comes in at number 4 for me. Jay, so who do you got on tap for your number 3?
Number 3, Eric B. and Rakim.
Now here's
one of my favorites.
I gotta call an audible on that, bro, because we've gone by 2 MCs.
2 MCs.
2 MCs.
All right.
So I got to call a flag on that one.
No, that's cool. So with that said, I'm gonna go with Black Star.
Okay.
One album collectively, but the collaborations they've done on each other's solo joints can't top it. Most Yasin with the swagger, with the demeanor, calm, and Talib, straight lyricist, pure lyricist, bar none, man. That's my number 3.
You can't be mad at Black Star, man. To me, they're one
Not at all.
Who, like you said, and I don't even really feel like it was a full album. It was almost like an EP. Like, was it like 8 or 9 songs? But the funny thing is that had to drop in maybe like 96 or 97. Yeah, no, I think it was
98.
Yeah, I think it was 98. But it's crazy to think that it's almost been 20 years since that dropped. Like 18 years later, I'm still waiting for another Black Star album. Like that's a testament to me of how dope. You good, D? D don't even hear that.
You got keep the headphones in, bro.
I don't even hear what's going on in your house, bro. But
y'all heard that too?
Yeah. But it's all good. It's all good. But
they're going to bed.
I understand, bro. I only got one. I could never even try to understand the madness of trying to get 2 kids to bed. So I feel you. But I think that's how. Yeah. But I think that's just to say how dope Black Star is. That like 20 years later, I'm like an idiot, like still waiting for Detox, like still waiting for another Black Star album. And I was sorry because for a while they were supposed to be doing something. Like, it was supposed to be an Aretha EP. Like, they were going to all use samples from Aretha Franklin, and they were supposed to drop it, but it never did. So, yeah, you can't. Black Star is a dope choice.
I had to unfollow Talib on Twitter, though.
Wow, what happened with him on Twitter?
He just, he be flooding the timeline. I got, like, damn, bro. he got to respond to every troll. It's like, it got too much.
Yeah, the funny thing about them is I love them together because I'm not the biggest Talib fan solo. You know what I mean? But with Most, I always felt like Most was just an incredible talent, and I really thought that he had next, man. I really did. Like, I was like, yo, this dude. When after Big died and everybody was like, Jay got next, I was like, yo, quiet as kept. Most Def is incredible, man. I was like, to be honest. Most may have next, but then he kind of just, I don't know. He did some Most Def shit.
The New Danger.
Yeah, the New Danger. So, but D, who you got at your number 3?
At my number 3, I got EPMD.
Okay.
I got EPMD at my number 3, and the only reason why I got them at number 3 is because to me, and this is me personally, it seemed like their progression went down, and maybe it was because they stopped getting along. But between Unfinished Business and all the way back to Business, it was just like it wasn't a progression to me. They were coming down. So to me, their best album was their first one. Even though they both were like I said, their chemistry between the both of them was just dope. I just didn't see like any progression from album to album. I just saw it, until it got back to them robbing each other, beating each other up, and all that. But as far as a group, as 2 MCs that had great chemistry, they're my number 3.
All right, no doubt. Babe, who you got?
I got EPMD. Also, I probably feel the opposite. Number 1, they were probably like the first group that I was like really distraught over the breakup, like because they were my favorite group at the time. You know what I'm saying? And Business Never Personal was my favorite album, even though I loved all the other albums also. But it was kind of like they peaked for me. Like, damn, they're at their hottest. They got all these new acts like Redman and Das Effects. this whole crew, and then now they're gonna break up. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, like just the fact that they both did production, and the production was crazy. They put all kinds of different spins on samples we had heard by then, from James Brown to George Clinton and all that. They just made it their sound. Even though I didn't always like Eric Sermon, you know what I'm saying, as far as with the lazy flow and not the lazy flow, the singing shit. I didn't mind as much because it all worked together, you know what I'm saying, in the group. Because I didn't really like Eric Sermon once they split up. I always liked his production, of course, but I always liked them together. Now, one thing I will agree upon is, like, once they came back, I don't mess with any of those albums, to be honest, because I don't know if they took too long of a break, you know what I'm saying, and I moved on to other artists and sound changed and all that. So when they got back, it felt like an old school group, you know what I'm saying, and we moved on to the Illmatics and the Mobb Deeps, and you know what I'm saying, by that time. But yeah, you know, this is one of my favorite groups all time. Would have had them higher, but I think my number 2 belongs where it belongs.
All right, no doubt. Nick, did we do your 3 already?
My 3 is De La Soul, back in Long Island. I think, like, for a group, they're going on 30 years now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 30 years in the industry, never split up. And as far as, like, I don't care for the new album. Me and Kill talked about this. I don't care for the new album too much, but, like, lyrically, they still got it. Especially Dave. Like, it's like Dave got no ceiling, dude. He just keep getting better. Like, his pen game he just keep getting better. But that's just a group that just consistently just kept putting out solid material, especially throughout the 90s. With, you know, when 3 Feet High was 88, 89, you had De La Soul Is Dead, 91, Balloon Mind State, 93, Stakes Is High, 96. They just continuously put out solid projects. And that's just something I gotta respect, man. Like, it's hard to ignore that.
Yeah, it's crazy because with a lot of people sleep on that third album, that Balloon Mind State, but they had some bangers on there. I mean, Break It Dawn, In the Woods.
That they did.
Ego Tripping, like, they had some joints on there, you know what I mean? And I think what a lot of cats also fail to realize is that I think by Balloon Mind State, they stopped messing with Prince Paul production-wise, and they were doing the bulk of their production in-house. You know, and I don't think a lot of people give people huge credit for that. We'll get into that later with another group who's done the same thing, but like, their production didn't slide. Like, most times, if I'm the producer, if we all a crew and then I leave, like, most people fall down. Like, CL ain't never been the same since Pete Rock, or Google wasn't the same over Primo. But for De La to kind of leave Prince Paul, who did those 2 albums, and still keep it moving, something I don't think a lot of people even, number 1, recognize, and then number 2, even give him credit for, because that's not an easy thing to do. You know what I mean? So I feel you on that. My number 3, and it's funny because these niggas jacked me for a beat. I got robbed from them. I gotta go with it. You know what I'm saying? Mash Out Posse from Brooklyn, man.
You can't say what happened. They robbed you for a beat. They jacked one of your beats.
Yeah, you ain't. I thought I told you the story. Long story short, I gave him a BCD in Baltimore. Messing around with Baltimore with D, messing around that city, y'all see. I give him a beat CD because M.O.P is like my favorite group. So I'm like, yo, I gotta get a beat on M.O.P. I was giving it to everybody, hype man, manager, anybody who looked like they was from Brooklyn. I was giving them a beat CD, like. And then like a year later, I'm listening to the Foundation album and the song "Rude Bastards" come on, and I'm like, it starts off with "Here Come the Pain." I was like, oh man, I used that. And then the beat come on, and I'm like,
I did that.
That's my beat. Like, you know what I mean?
You did that beat?
Huh?
That was your beat?
Yeah, that was my beat. And I'm like, yo, this is my beat. And I called my man Mills, like, yo, because I'm thinking somebody stole the beat from me and then sold it to them. So he's like, yo, I'm at the crib, I'm looking on Wikipedia, say Fizzy Womack did it. I'm like, damn, that means M.O.P stole the beat. Like, damn. The dope thing is, and that's what really got me on the internet, because I remember I posted on Kevin Nottingham, this website that was up back in the day. and I posted on OK Player, and the dude from Kevin Nottingham got at me like, yo, man, this story is crazy, man. Like, yo, my server shut down because so many people flock into this story. And then like probably a day or two later, I was on the phone with Fame and Lazy, their manager, you know, like, yo, we ain't mean to steal it, you know, our this chick, I forgot her name. She rhymes on some of their stuff, but she was like managing producers. He was like, yo, we thought it was one of her producers. We had rhymed to it, you know, whatever. But yeah, so that was the quick story of that. Vegas, I appreciate it. He was the first dude who blogged about it for me. Out there, you know. But yeah, so I gotta go with M.O.P, man. I mean, to the death, their first album was cool. I dug it, but I felt like once they got with Premier, it was a wrap. You know, Rugged Never Smooth, that remix, Firing Squad, First Family for Life, Warriors. I mean, these dudes got out 10 CDs. You know what I'm saying? And most cats don't even realize that because they think after Warriors, but they had this joint called
Marksman.
Yeah, the Marksman Cinema.
Yeah, they got me.
Then the dudes had the Rock and Roll album.
Yeah.
Then they had this other joint that was out, the Saint Marksman joint. Then they had this joint Ghetto Warfare that was out before, you know, the Foundation joint dropped. So that's 9 right there. And then I know they did an album with like the Snow Goons. I really wasn't checking for that joint, but M.O.P, man, I just love their energy, man. You know, I love their energy. And to me, they're probably, maybe if not they're definitely top 3 most authentic real niggas. You know, everybody else who left G Unit or left Rockefeller had beef with somebody. Ain't nobody say nothing. You've never heard a slanderous word.
Yo, let me say something real quick, right?
What's that?
I know exactly what you're talking about because I used to say the same thing to Strictly Hip Hop. I was like, you know, anytime you have a video and a nigga in your crew has no teeth and you still let him in the video, there's some real niggas. And the other shit, what you said about Rockefeller, right? I was reading an article about how they left because I wanted to know, because I'm thinking the same thing, like, damn, M.O.P left. And it was like, you know, I guess the person who was interviewing them was like, yo, was it a problem with y'all leaving? And Billy Danzini said this. And he didn't mix words or nothing. He was like, yo, if it was a problem, all 3 of us just would have went up in the building and went to war with everybody in there. And I'm like, damn. They just want to go in there and just fight everybody in the record label? Like, so I know exactly what you mean, bro. Nobody was fucking with them. They just let them out their contract.
Right. Yeah, it was like there's no problem. Everybody who else tried to leave G Unit, there was beef. 50 was coming at them. Everybody with M.O.P, you just left them alone. Like, you know, you ain't bothered them. There's some video on YouTube with back in the day in Brooklyn going to bootleggers. You know, like, they're just the authentic dudes. I thought Fame was just crazy. And again, like DR period, like they just had the complete package to me with M.O.P. And they're the only dudes who I never got tired of them yelling at me or robbing people. You know, like with Mobb Deep, after a while, I was like, all right, y'all, I'm a little tired. We know you robbed everybody. We got you, Queens. We know. With M.O.P, it's like, nah, keep it coming. Keep yelling. Keep it going. And the thing that I love about M.O.P is that, and Veg, you'll remember from the 90s, like, you know, there was just a time when everybody was trying to follow formulas to get record spins or whatever like that. And I never forget they had to join off the 3rd album with Jay-Z when they was over the Rocky beat. You know, like, you know, on paper, this looks like we're going to blow up. We're rhyming over Rocky. Everybody knows the beat. We got Jay-Z on it, and it did absolutely nothing. Then you make a song about robbing people, Annie Up, and now Funk Flex is dropping bombs on it, and it's the biggest song in the world. It just always showed me, just make dope music. You know, don't try to follow a blueprint because it never works. Just make dope music, and if you make dope music, eventually, prayerfully, people will hear it, and that's what happened with M.O.P. So we down to number 2. Jace, who you got on tap for number 2?
Ghost and Ray, all day. From Enter the Woo, 36, Can It Be All So Simple? So I'll even take it to Bulletproof Wallace, the Hilton, the 2 of them on that. The MGM on the Wu-Tang Forever album. Only Built for Cuban Links 2 over 10 Bricks, the Dilla joint. My number 2, man.
I mean, shit, you can't argue with it.
Yeah.
Cuban Links, Iron Man. Yeah.
Hey,
Dudes are nasty.
hey, I'm not. Hey, after what happened to Joe Buttons talking shit about meth, yep, Ghost and Ray. I'm all day.
If
Got
they can't outshine you, they'll slap the shit out of you.
got nothing bad to say about Wu. You got Papa Wu stepping to people at people's funerals and stuff.
For real.
Papa Wu stepping to people at Sean Price wake, making Action Bronson leave Brooklyn. So yeah, the Wu. Yep, number 2. Got you. D, who you got for your number 2?
Number 2, I got Outkast.
Okay.
That's my number 2. Now they're different to me with EPMD, from Southern Player Listen Cadillac Music all the way up to, what was that last one? What was the double album one? Speaker Boxes. Yo, they just got better. Like the way that 3 Stacks rhymes now to when he rhymed then, which is so ahead of. Like, I'd have never thought he'd have got to, like, the way he was rhyming then to the way he's rhyming now. I'd have never thought anybody could get to that level of lyric genius. But it was like, yo, this dude is getting better. And then when he just drops, like, verses on other people's albums, you're just looking at him like, yo, did this dude just say that? And he's wearing that, though. He's wearing that, but he's saying that. I mean, the dude was just dope, and then with the compliment of Big Boy, it was just like they just smashed together, and it just like AT Aliens was just just crazy to me, just crazy to me. So yeah, they're my number 2.
All right, no doubt. Nick, who's your number 2?
My number 2 was, what did you have, Smif and Wessun?
Yeah, I had Smif and Wessun at number 4.
They're my number 2 because, like you said, that album is so damn perfect. That album is perfect to me, dude. But see, I even like the Cocoa Brothers album,
Right.
and the joint they did in 2004. It came out. It was Monkey Bars, the Buckshot, and Knife Wonder. That one was tight, but the Shining from the album cover, paying homage to Roy Ayers, to the tracks, the Soundboy Burial, Stand Strong, Bucktown, Hallucination, Wipe Your Mouth, PNC. Them dudes is like, the glove ain't fit OJ, but them dudes fit.
Right.
They were perfect. The perfect duo to me.
Yeah.
The perfect duo.
Yeah. And the funniest thing about that is that I forgot to say this when I was talking about them, is that when we were talking about falling into your, like, Havoc getting into his groove for Hell on Earth, I felt like the beat miners were in their zone on this one. Like, they, into the stage was like, all right, we trying to figure out this and how to EQ. I just feel like by this time they were like, okay, we got it. We know what we doing. We know their sound. We know it. I mean, again, a lot of people.
I don't know why Helter Skelter didn't use them on Nocturnal.
Right. Yeah, it's funny I was thinking about that today. Like, I've yet to hear, and I don't know if any of y'all have ever heard it, but I've yet to hear, like, what happened. Like, they literally went from being the in-house producers to, I think they did like 3 or 4 on Helter Skelter, did 2 on OGC, and then just disappeared. Like, I never heard the Beat Miners speak on it, or Black Moon, or any of them speak on it, but I always felt like that was the thing that kind of like crippled the Boot Camp Clique, because I remember they did that compilation album for the people, and I was hyped until I heard the beats. You know what I mean? And it was just like nah, like, too late, too little. So, but yeah, the Beat Miners were just in their zone on that joint right there. So, Vay, who you got your number 2?
Number 2, I got a M.O.P. I feel like I don't listen to heavy metal, but M.O.P. is like my hip hop heavy metal.
Black rock.
Like you said, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, with the whole yelling, I never get tired of it, you know what I'm saying? And I also feel like Fame lyrically has gotten really good.
Yeah.
Like especially even recently, where like he doesn't let down when it's some bars, and it's crazy because when you look at him in the beginning, they was just about yelling, I keep yelling. That's the way they do it. But their chemistry was crazy, and they were really more so about, just robbing people and tough guy shit. But as they went on and they started to do more, and Fame started to do production, except for that one record that they took from you. But you know what I'm saying. But still, like they maintain. They never sound old to me. You know what I'm saying. You know how some artists still do the same thing, but they like Daylight don't sound old. I had to listen to that new album. Like, damn, maybe I need to go back and listen to a couple of albums because this don't sound like the Daylight I grew up with. You know what I'm saying. They evolved. And probably my favorite album is probably The Warriors, only because, like you said, when Annie Up, that's when I was in the clubs heavy. And in the 90s, how about some hardcore would get played in the clubs, but somebody was going to get fucked up when Annie Up came on. And honestly, the Brooklyn in me was just bubbling like, yo, I'm about to knock somebody the fuck out because this record is just crazy. You know what I'm saying? You start looking around the club like, yo, I'm just ready to get into it. But that's what I mean. Like when you watch the heavy metal acts, those dudes in the crowd, they going crazy. They throwing shit. And that's how it made me feel. And a couple of people. And for them to have that to be like their biggest hit, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of made me feel like, damn, yeah, this is one of my favorite groups of all time. So that's why they're my number 2.
No doubt. No.
I think Annie Up made you want to tear anything up. Like when it came on, no matter where you were, you wanted to throw something, break something. You just wanted to do something.
As a little dude, I got the fuck off the floor when that came on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let me put a disclaimer. Depending on the club you was in, you was either gonna fuck somebody up or you were gonna leave.
Right.
Would you say it's like Annie Up was like the '95 Source Awards? It was like, let me just get up out of here before.
Trying to make a move.
Yeah, you gotta make a move. Either you in it or you out. Either way, get up out of here one way or another. My number 2 is gonna be EPMD, man. Them dudes like I think Vegas. You was kind of saying it earlier. Like, D, I gotta disagree with you, man. Like, I thought EPMD just got doper, man. Like, I thought, just they got doper. The thing that I love about EPMD was, I think, like, they were the ones who kind of, I can't, I'm 42, so I'm not going back to the Cold Crush Brothers and the Treacherous 3 and the Funky 4 plus one more, but just how I was saying with Smif and Wessun, that by that third verse, the back and forth, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they patterned that, but I love that. I'm going back to 86. We're hearing It's My Thing. You know what I'm saying? And you're a customer. And then, you guys to chill and Strictly Business. I felt the thing I loved about EPMD is they had the blueprint for just making incredible first singles. Like, after Strictly Business, I'm like, yo, there's no way they're topping this. And I don't think Unfinished Business is better than Strictly Business, but when I heard So What You're Saying, like, that was a huge first single. It was like, God damn, like, yo, these dudes is crazy, man. And in Vegas, I hear you on the singing thing. I even like the, It's So Amazing. Eric, maybe by the third album, we started of him singing, but That's So Amazing line was kind of dope at the time, them dudes kind of just embodied hip-hop for me personally, to this day, it was so funny because it probably took me about 10 years to finally understand everything Eric was always saying. You know what I mean? Like, it was probably about 10 years went by before I realized he said, I drive a Samurai Suzuki. Like, I never knew what he said. He drives Corvette, I drive a Samurai Suzuki. I just would always mumble that together. But, the album covers, like, were always dope. Like, Unfinished Business, where they out at the beach, and he got the IROC and the Benz, and, DJ scratches out the sunroof with the belt. Like, they were just dope. And then when they came with Gold Digger, man, I love Gold Digger, man. Like, that joint was hard. And, then they follow that up with Crossover, which I think was their biggest hit, which is crazy because, number one, they're dissing the radio, and they got the most radio play. And number two, it's a slow song. It's not like it's no get you in the club type song. And I'm with I love their last album. Like, it's always Strictly Business. And what I mean by their last album is that fourth album with Crossover on it. Because anything after that, I don't even count anything after that. Like, you know, I kind of felt like that's when they broke up. You know, anything after that, it don't even matter. Like to me, Tribe broke up after Midnight Marauders. They just ain't know it. They just made 2 more albums. Like what the hell? But nah, the breakup was after Midnight. That was the breakup. So yeah, EPMD, man, them dudes was just, you know, real dope to me. And what you say, Veg?
I was gonna say they probably had the best dancer back then, which was a dude. I think his name was Fendi.
Okay, wasn't Steezo one of his dancers too?
I think so, because they had 2 dancers.
Okay,
they didn't get mentioned a lot,
right?
Like beyond, like, you know, in New York they had Video Music Box and all of that, and in the videos you really couldn't see some of what they were doing, but like when you watch like Video Music Box, they would have shows, and like I used to love Scoob and Scrap because, you know, of course everybody danced back then, but that dude Fendi was crazy. I don't know what the hell happened to him, probably on crack or some shit, but nigga disappeared. Like he just disappeared. Like, and
I mean, I guess it's like what happened to E Love, the dude who used to hold the radio for LL. You know?
Exactly.
Like E Love was a serious part of the show. You know, that dude held the radio and gave L DAP throughout the show and everything like that. Where's E Love at right now, man?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, EPMD, man, was just crazy to me, and I'm just like you. That breakup was just crazy to me. I remember an article in the Source, and they had like the whole Hit Squad like had a picture of them from the back, and it was just like, wow, man, like these dudes was like, that was a dope rap crew, like
yeah.
Like that wasn't there was, I mean, K Solo wasn't the dopest, but I mean, you know, Das.
Yeah, that's the only one I didn't really like. I never really got into K Solo.
See, I didn't mind K Solo
because it was cool.
Yeah, it was like, and those are the days that I miss about hip hop, where a nigga could come out with a song about spelling, and it was, you know, Spellbound was dope, man. You know what I mean? He's spelling in it, you know. So those are the days of hip hop that I miss. Because if a nigga tried to spell in 2016, it's like, come on, man. But, you know, Spellbound, Your Mom's in My Business. You know, that first. Truth be told, that first K Solo album was kind of dope. That's like one of my slept on, like.
Yeah, like what's the other one? Fugitive.
Yeah, Fugitive. I'm rocking for my hometown. CI, some Try Slip. Like that first album has some joints on it, but yeah. But when that breakup happened, it was crazy, and it's just because that breakup was just so bugged that it was like Eric got Paris robbed. You know, and again, nobody has ever really talked about really what happened and if that really happened or whatever. But, you know, all the other breakups is like, oh, Brandon Beers broke up, who was an asshole. Like, you know, they broke up because, you know, fuck them 2 DJs with main source. But with EPMD, it was like, did that really happen? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that's the thing with EPMD. So, Jace, what's your number one? Who's your number one dopest duo for you?
Man, the South got something to say. Outkast, from inception to their last album, I challenge you to find another duo that is sonically changed, stepped outside their comfort zone with their production team, stayed lyrically sharp, and dabbled into some other things you probably wouldn't have expected, and gave you a completely dope album. I was just listening to Aquemini today, Liberation, with the dude singing on it, and it fits. Give me another hip hop group that can do that. They can do their own. They can start to venture off on their own thing, come up with a double CD. First of all, how many hip hop artists have come out with a double CD and it was actually good?
2. That's it. Well, 3, including that.
Yeah. Outkast, man, that's my number one.
I hear you, bro. You know I ain't mad at that.
At all.
You know that.
At all.
Who's your number one?
My number one, Quest. Tribe Called Quest. My favorite all-time duo group, period. Midnight Marauders is my all-time favorite. Midnight Marauders is one of those albums where I wore out 2 tapes, a CD, somebody else's tape. Like, yo, it was so crazy. Like, I can always go back to the very first time I heard Midnight Marauders. We were at University of Maryland, and I don't care. I think you heard the story before. We was at University of Maryland, and somebody put the tape in the car, and on our way back home to Baltimore, it was so dope to me and to the people in the car that nobody said a word. It was like nobody said a thing. By the time everybody got home, it was like that was the greatest thing I've ever heard, ever. From Distinctive Travels all the way up to even I like the Love movement. I loved every album they had, and I appreciate it. That's my favorite. That's my all-time favorite group. And you're right. I mean, it did seem like they broke up at the Midnight Marauders, but I think they still put 2 good albums together after that for what they were, what they were going through. I don't think anybody blended the way they did. The production was always on point. Yeah, they're my number one.
All right.
I debated about having them on my list, but I just don't like Fife enough. I couldn't do it. I love them though. Low End Theory, that's my favorite album. Period.
Kill, don't go there.
No.
Don't go.
No. I was going to say that we were at the radio station for the 25th anniversary.
Oh, jeez.
He was the first person, because I just thought that it was just known throughout the universe that Tip was better than Fife. So my dad was like, nah, Fife is better than Tip. And I was just like, yo, I've never, in like 40 years of walking the earth, like, I've never
like Fife better than
Tip. But then when we got on the air, like a couple of people were saying that. I still think it's a Baltimore thing, but neither here nor there. I'm just like, but
I'm from Baltimore, and I'm taking Tip over Fife all day, man.
Okay, well, there you go. It's not a Baltimore thing, so, but nah, my only question for you, D, was I just got to question this. You loved Beats, Rhymes, and Life and The Love Below?
I liked them, yo. I did. Okay. I enjoyed them.
I wanted to, sometimes when we get into hip hop discussions, we embellish because you said you loved them. So
I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them.
Oh, okay. There we go.
They weren't my favorite, but I enjoyed them.
Okay.
I like Beats, Rhymes, and Life. I don't care for the Love movement.
What'd you say, Nick?
I like Beats, Rhymes, and Life. I didn't like the Love movement.
Yeah, to me, and again, this is why I said, I felt like they broke up because, I felt like Fife moving to Atlanta. Everybody just was doing their own thing, and then I'm listening to Beats, Rhymes, and Life, and I'm like, who's this Consequence dude? And why is he like weird? Like I just felt like it was just all over the place, and then bringing in the Uma, it just everything changed.
Consequence.
Yeah, but hey, Tribe is definitely, one of the dopest groups ever. So can't nobody be mad at that pick. Nick, who's your number one?
You already know. You already know.
I know, but just for the
hometown heroes, man. The hometown heroes. Outkast. The group that made me be proud. Because prior to Outkast, all we had was Kilo, MC Shadi, and Raheem. and Chris Cross, and Jermaine Dupri. Outkast is the one group where, like, their first 3 albums, you know how you have a favorite album for a group?
Right.
But like the first album was the most important because it got the South respect as MCs. I think that's the most important. Southern Playalistic. ATLians is my personal favorite just because I think like that's just a perfect album, no flaws. And then Equimini is like the magnum opus. That's like, if you're going to introduce somebody to a group, Outkast, you get them Equimini. Because you get the best of everything they do on that album. The Outkast, man. Number one.
All right, I feel you on vague. Who you got for your number one?
My number one, I have Tribe Called Quest. It was kind of debatable because I mixed all of these around several times, but I have to say Tribe only because I feel like, they were just the most well-rounded in regards to being able, because I kind of like Beats, Rhymes, and Life. I didn't mind them being a little bit edgier. I felt like I wasn't feeling Consequence being on the album as much as he was. At the time, I didn't even know all the stuff that was happening behind the scenes. But I felt like they had, a lot of songs where, not even just the singles that were hits, but it was like, they were safe, because what I'm saying, I was young and I was listening to shit like Ice Cube and all types of shit. I couldn't play that around my mother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Tribe, I could turn that shit up. I could watch the video and know all the words and all of that. And Low End Theory is probably my favorite, only because The only song I don't like on there, and today I'll let it ride, is that Sky Pager song. that shit was like 20 years late, even for back then. Like this shit was a commercial in the middle of the album, and I'm like, what the fuck? Who thought of making this? But yeah, man, like even like Scenario was on there. You know, they got Ron Carter. You know what I'm saying? And if you watch interviews with Ron Carter, he don't do shit with anyone, including jazz artists, if he's not feeling it. And for him to do that with A Tribe Called Quest was enough. You know, I didn't even know about him. They were just introducing me not only to themselves, but to other samples in hip hop, like jazz or whatever, and jazz artists. And it just kind of opened me up musically to, you know, all these different things. And I was there. Remember, I was there for the Strictly Hip Hop debate about who's better, Phife or Q-Tip. Now, you know, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and of course I was saying Q-Tip all the time. But then I started thinking, and I was like, yeah, Phife has the more memorable lines, though. When you think about lines from A Tribe Called Quest, unless you're just straight Tribe Called Quest fan like that, most people don't know any Q-Tip lines like that. But the whole Bo knows this, bust semen in your eyes, now you got Siemens furniture, like Phife got the memorable lines. So it's hard to say Phife, but yeah, it was kind of Phife.
Hold on. You know the hard part with me is I get it, because you know what? When I think of Tribe, I'm probably gonna start with I Love 'Em Brown, Yellow, Puerto Rican, and Haitian.
Yeah.
But you know what I've always wondered? I always felt like Phife was the more simplistic one.
That's what I was gonna say.
So it's almost like, you know, it would be like, you know, how like I could remember going out on my block and girls would be jumping rope singing Mace songs. Like, because it's just so easier to sing along with that you're gonna remember a Mace verse probably quicker than you're gonna remember a Big verse or something like that. So, and that's no disrespect to Phife. You know what I mean? I just felt like but I agree with you wholeheartedly that if you probably ask the average person, like, first Tribe Called Quest line that comes to your mind it is gonna be a Phife joint.
Phife line.
Yeah, and if we talking about better MCs, I'm thinking in the frame of battling,
right?
And what Q-Tip is going to say is going to be nice for a song. What Phife is going to say is going to make the crowd say, "Yo, his shit is better." You know what I'm saying? Because of the bars or whatever. But I did not like The Love Below. I refuse to listen to it to this day. The shit was trash. And I don't know, maybe if I listen to it now, I'd be like, it was alright. But at the time, I found my way, and all the unreleased stuff was all I really cared about on that album. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tribe, my number one.
I think one thing Tip doesn't get a lot of credit for is just those remixes, the Tribe remixes. Like, Tribe had a lot of very, very, very dope remixes, and would remix songs that were already perfect. Like Scenario to me was perfect. You know what I mean? When it dropped, and then to come with the Scenario remix was just not too many people can say, yo, you know, we done did a perfect song and we gonna follow it up with a perfect remix. You know what I'm saying? And so I mean, I just think like the Can I Kick It remix with the Baby Huey break in it, you know, they just were always the Oh My God remix. They just were, you know, they were great in that, and I think that was Tip just being in that producer bag. And you know, in that time in the 90s, that's what you did. You made a dope song and then you remixed it and made it even doper. You know what I mean? That's just what the game was about, you know. Nas is gonna have The World Is Yours by Pete, and Q-Tip's gonna come along and remix it and make it even doper. Like, you know, now we can't even get people to make a dope song first to even remix.
How about that?
We can't even get that first dope song. So yeah, but Tribe, definitely one of the dopest.
And I have to put a disclaimer because like we this episode was just about the duos.
Right.
That's why they're not on my list. But Tribe is my second favorite group of all time.
Right.
Yeah, when you sent out the message duos, I thought 4 people rotating in and out, which is why. But yeah, they up there.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, and again, everybody, the definition, you know, I wasn't even, to be honest with you, I didn't even think of Tribe because they're stuck in my mind as a group. You know what I mean? Even though Ruby and Ali ain't do shit, you know. What did Ali do?
Yeah, I want to know that though, because Tip said he did all of it.
He didn't make beats. He wasn't that nice of a DJ. I mean, I could have probably DJed for a time. That's what we need the documentary on. Like, what did you
Ali
do? Like,
what did Jerobi do?
That's what I said. What did these other two do?
Right, cook the dance.
That's why when People's Instinctive dropped, I was like, why isn't Q-Tip a solo artist? Like, what are these other three dudes here? I was like, this dude is really, but the funny thing is even him producing under the moniker of A Tribe Called Quest really showed that he was down for the group unity, because I really believe that if Q-Tip all those years we would have been seeing produced by Q-Tip, his name would be a lot higher on people's
producer list.
But I think I know for me at that time the DJ, I always just thought the DJ made the beats.
Same here. I always assumed Ali did the beats.
Right. So for all those years, I just assumed Ali did the beats until after midnight, and I would hear Ali produce beats versus Q-Tip produced beats, and I'm like, nah, Tip was doing all these beats. No, nothing but love for Tribe. My number one, you already know who it is. It's Outkast, man. I don't know what else I could say about them that hasn't already been said. Same thing with Vegas. When Southern Playalistic dropped, I really wasn't into it. You know what I mean? I love Players Ball, and what was the other first joint sub? The same Playalistic. To be honest with you, I just probably listened to the whole entire album maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Because I like Get Up and Get Out. You know, I always thought that they was dope. Like, I wasn't one of the people who was mad that they won the Source Awards. I was like, nah, they're dope. They deserve it. You know, Elevators, of course, was dope, but it wasn't until Aquemini dropped that I really was like, yo, these dudes are on a whole nother level. And I think it was also at the time, too, because when you listen to Southern Playalistics and you listen to Funky Ride, these dudes were really the dopest at incorporating soul and just so many different genres of music. And I know at that time I wasn't a really big R&B dude, but by the time, you know, Aquemini dropped, you know, Brown Sugar is out, the whole neo soul movement was in. So I think my ears were just more open, because trust me, if the neo soul thing never popped off, I probably would have been like, what's this Southern this spodioti? What's these horns? This hip hop? Where's the echoing horns? Or where's the, you know, my ears wouldn't even been ready for that. But because neo soul and Erica and Maxwell and D'Angelo, my ears were just open to hear more. You know, because Spodioti is one of my favorite joints. Same thing with Liberation. I probably would have heard that like, yo, why these niggas singing? Yo, this hip hop, man. That's why I don't mess with them sound like that. But because of, you know, my ears were just open, and yeah, they just got doper than that. The thing that I loved and what D was saying earlier about Dre is that I always thought they both were dope. You know, I actually for a while thought they were equal. You know, on Southern Playalistics, I kind of felt like they were both dope. You know, that was the thing I liked about Outkast. Like, I never thought one was kind of better than the other. But I don't know what happened. Like, even on Elevators, just Dre's verse, like, it was almost like the weirder he got, the doper he got.
The doper he got, yes.
It was kind of like, you know, with all the other people who mess with Erykah Badu, it was like the weirder you got, the cornier you got. Just like Common just crashed, like messing with Erykah Badu. Yeah. But with Dre, it was just like, you know, that whole Elevators, you know, about the, if I don't, you know, we like neck to neck, if I don't move your feet, then I don't eat, like, you know. And then by the time Return of the Gangster came on, it was just like, yo, I give up. Like, what is this dude even? This dude is like on a whole nother level. Like D said, I don't think anybody could have pegged that in '95 that somebody would have been like, yo, this dude Andre, you know, is gonna be one of the like dopest rappers, you know, ever, or like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. And you know, I mean, Dre would get on songs like D was saying and just do a verse and make me like the song. Like that, what was that Walk It Out song?
Walk It Out song, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Dre come in and do a verse, and I'm like, damn, Walk It Out's kind of dope. You know? So he was on a Lloyd song, and just he would say stuff. And he'd be like, "What time do you what time do you get off?" And she was like, "What time do you get me off?" It was just so witty that it was just like, you know, like, yo, this like, or even the verse on International Players Anthem. It's like, yo, what was this dude? That's the dude who I would want to be around, like seeing him write his rhymes. Like, what is your brain doing right now that's making you think about spaceships don't got rear view mirrors, they dip. You know, like where is your mind frame at?
What are you eating? What are you eating? What DNA? What does your DNA consist
Yeah,
of?
what is your diet? Like where are you getting your weed from? Like, you know, is this vitamin water or is this Sobe water? Which one are we drinking here for? You know, this I felt like the double album was marketing genius. You know, whoever was marketing that did it perfect, because that album doesn't do what they do if they release them separate.
Solo, yeah.
If they
not at all.
solo albums, it doesn't even fit. You know, so whoever came up with that idea is like got a job for life, because
L.A. Reid.
yeah, I mean that went on like 10 million records. So I mean, like whoever put that together, like, you know, that's the marketing genius. But yeah, Cass, like it's one of my favorite joints right there, man. Like I got Cass stuff all throughout the studio, man, and I loved it that it was just like, look at the difference in these niggas. Like
Right.
one dude look like an alien, another dude look like he about to rob you. Like
Right.
these dudes just, you know, continue to just make, you know, incredibly dope music. The visuals were dope. Y'all got any like extra dudes, like any little asterisk groups that you wanted to make it but maybe didn't get in on?
Das Effects.
Das Effect?
Yep. With Dead Serious. Classic. Hold It Down. Classic.
Yeah. I'm not mad at Das. It's funny because I've been in conversation with hip hop heads and they call him a one-hit wonder, and I honestly don't think they're one-hit wonders. I mean, Dead Serious was crazy. Straight Up Suicide was dope. The beats weren't dope, but for them to drop the whole Iggy style and just like go head in was dope. And then Hold It Down, I always felt Hold It Down was that time in hip hop where it was like you wanted to put 20 songs on an album.
Yeah.
Like if they would have just picked the 12 best songs,
yeah,
that album would have been a classic to me. But it was just at that time where it was like, yo, how many songs could fit on a CD? Like, you know, 80 minutes.
Right.
Make 80 minutes worth of music. It's like you really don't have to, but you know, that was just the time of hip hop we were in. But yeah, I ain't mad at Das at all, man.
The two that did make the list for me, Red Meth and Lord's Underground. They were like 6 and 7.
Okay.
Appreciated them. Especially Red and Meth, because Red Man's my all-time favorite rapper, period.
No, I get on the Red and Meth. It's the Lords of the Underground.
Lords of the Underground, yeah.
I like them. I like them dudes. I kind of like them.
There was some critics on that.
You gotta give me the science behind Do It All. Like, like don't get twisted. I love Funky Child. Who was the other joint they had? Chief Rocker. Like,
Rock, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Incredible, but okay, cool.
It came to me while we were sitting here talking. I like Little Brother a lot.
Yeah,
Fonte.
Oh,
when they broke up, I was like,
I was hurt by that.
Like, damn, it's like EPMD, Tribe Called Quest all over again.
I was definitely hurt by that. Yeah.
It's funny, man. They actually got the name of their group from a Black Star song that they did on the Hurricane sound.
Yeah. But yeah, like, you know, they like I probably came in more so on the second album, like a lot of people I know.
The Minstrel Show.
Yeah, the Minstrel Show.
Yeah.
Because that album to me is classic. Like,
it is.
Just what they did with the material, beats, the rhymes.
Fonte bit.
Yeah, just the way it was put together completely. And even after Ninth left, they had some dope shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even after that. But
they had an album after Ninth left?
Yeah. Called like Left Back or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I forget what it was.
All right, that's the one I need to check out. All right, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that was one of those groups that like sitting here talking about all these groups, I was like, damn. Probably should have had, you know, I don't think maybe they would have been like 6, but I was really into them for a minute.
Yeah. I missed the Little Brother wagon. That just went right over my head. I'm like the lone person who was.
I tried to get you on it, yo. You wasn't trying to get on it.
You know what it is, man?
Especially the Minstrel Show.
It's when Cass. It was the hype behind them with the listener. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh my God, this is the next Tribe Called Quest, and oh my God, they're the greatest thing, and oh my God, Pete Rock riding them to the basement. And then I heard it, and I was like, it's cool, but what the fuck? Like, this ain't, I'm not hearing nothing that's literally warranting Meet and Pete Rock and all the other. I think it was just timing. You know, they came in at a time when hip hop was, I don't know, neither here nor there. Hey, I couldn't rock with it. But I mean,
you know what? Hip hop was at a stagnant level when they came through. It was like it was stagnant. They didn't know where it was going. And when they came through, it was like, yo, who are these cats?
A breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And then another thing about this, and I mean, hey, we all needed hell. Half these authors on Oprah's best-selling list got sales from Oprah. Back in like 2000, 2001 when they dropped, OK Player was really big at the time. And Quest gave them a cosign. And it's like if Quest at that time, and shit, even now, like if you get Quest to retweet your album, you probably gonna make a couple more dollars than you would if you didn't. When he gave them a shout out on OK Player, it just kind of like just ran, like it just went to the bank with it, you know. And again, I'm not saying they weren't whack, that they were whack, but it's just like I just didn't see the hype. And I think if I would have just heard the CD, I probably would have liked it. But with all the hype, that I was just like, nah, you know.
Yeah, I was the same exact way because I wasn't on strictly hip hop, but I was like behind the scenes while Ak and them were doing it, and they, you know, they was playing and listening like crazy. And when I listened to it, I was just like you. I was like, yeah, it's alright. I don't know why everybody's so excited. But when I heard the Minstrel Show,
the Minstrel Show is serious.
I was like, nah, now I know what people are talking about. Right. Like, this does feel like that De La Soul, that native tongue, you know, lineage, you know what I'm saying? But for that time, it's just too bad it didn't last.
Yeah, and it's funny because everybody knows I'm not the biggest fan of Ninth. So I think that was the other thing, too, because I love Fonte as an MC. To be honest with you, he's my favorite MC post-2000, including Kendrick, including J. Cole. I love Fonte. Wasn't a huge Pooh fan until I heard this Pooh and Knots album that dropped last year that was absolutely fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
You heard his Sleepers album?
Nah, it was dope.
I'm gonna send that to you. That was like, that came out right after the Minstrel Show. I'm gonna send that to you.
All right. And the last group that I got that kind of got an asterisk was the Roots. You know, a lot of times people don't look at them as a duo. I always look, because the Roots got 800 members. They done traded like players, 10 tuba players, but I just always looked at the Roots as Black Thought, Malik B, and Quest.
Hell yeah.
You know, everybody else, keyboard players came, go, Scott Storch, Paul, Ben Kinney, everybody done went and come. But I always looked at it like Black Thought and Malik on Philadelphia, like Nick, like you said with ATL. I mean, with Outkast making you be able to be proud of Atlanta. That's how I kind of felt like with the Roots. You know, like, I mean, it was like finally, like, because I used to spend every summer in Brooklyn, and my cousins would just always rag on me, like, oh, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. So we up here, we got Big Daddy Kane, y'all got Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. You know, brand new funk. You know, so I was always getting clowned every year from my cousins and everybody in Brooklyn. So it just felt good when Philadelphia came out, and it was like, yo, this is dope. Like, it's like, now I could wear it on my chest, like, yo, Philly got somebody dope. And I felt like Malik was just very dope on that album. I mean, my favorite song on Philadelphia was No Great Pretender, Malik's solo joint. To me, they're synonymous with Tribe Called Quest. Didn't like either one of their debut albums. And then their second album, I fell in love with it. And kind of like the second MC with Fife got better with Butter. Malik got better with, you know, No Great Pretender. And then, you know, of course, Malik's drug problem, and he ended up leaving the group. But I really felt like Malik leaving really hurt the Roots a lot. You know what I'm saying? I felt like him and Thought were very dope, and I feel like they've always been trying to find somebody else to kind of complement that, whether it be all these new MCs that they be grabbing at on their albums. But the Roots was my asterisk joint. So that's it.
We talked a lot about that before, Kill. Thought is probably my favorite MC, and I don't think he gets the shine he deserves because and he doesn't get the guest appearances he deserves, because if you put him on a track, he gonna eat your ass up.
That's why people don't.
He's one of the few MCs out here kicking freestyle and you never hear it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to probably say Thought is the only MC that I can honestly say I've ever heard freestyle and I never hear it again.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time, Rap City, The Basement, and The Booth, like, you'll hear a verse, and then when the album dropped, you're like, oh, that's the verse he did. You know,
exactly.
With Thought, I honestly don't think, and I've heard him freestyle a million times, and I mean, he may use a line, but I rarely even hear that. Like it's usually all off the top and straight for the vein. So
got him. See. Well, before we go, one more group, one more duo, the Clips.
oh man, yo.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
The first two albums, Lord Willing and Hell Have No Mercy.
Yeah.
You got me. Somebody about to have to get kicked out this top 5, man. Like, oh man, the Clip.
The Clips.
Yo, they right up there with M.O.P. with me. Like, I never get tired of them talking about drugs. Like, talking about dope until Jesus comes back for his church. I'm good. I'm like, yo, this dude. And me and my man Mills will be like, yo, how can they find new ways to talk about crack? In every album, Pusha is like on his 8th album talking about crack, and he always finds a new way to do it. Like Drug Dealer Anonymous. I'm just sitting here like, how does this nigga do it?
Yeah.
Right.
How do you different way? Like he said something on one of their mixtapes, it's the Hood Obama shoveling McCain. Like yo, you really. And the thing about them dudes is they always have little joints that most people won't pick up on. On one of their joints, he said niggas is running a race just to settle for Solange. And I was like, yo, what do that mean? And my friend was like, yo, he's saying second. You running a race to come in second, like she's second to Beyonce. And I was just like, yo, I quit, man. Like, yo, I quit. Like, yo, who thinks like there are just so many little things? What do you say in that joint? That's Trust. I know them 20s real well. When it was that joint, was that club joint off their first album?
Get Ripped.
Yeah, when the last time you did it like
that? The last time, yeah.
He was saying, the girl's trying to get in the car, and he said, nah, I know them 20s real well. Like, we ain't squishing in my car right now, but yeah, the Clips, yeah, man. Damn, man. I don't know who would get kicked. Yeah. Somebody got it.
Anybody got the Yin Yang Twins?
We ain't got the whisper song.
We don't got the whisper song. We don't got the whisper song.
Man,
you know what I'm mad about right now though? Everybody had talked about a group from their hometown that they could be like, yo, that hometown made them proud. Baltimore has nobody.
yo, quiet as kept. I know it ain't hip hop. Y'all got Drew Hill.
No. We talk about hip hop, yo.
All right, well, y'all ain't got nobody.
We ain't got nobody.
Well, you know what? The closest thing y'all got is The Wire. I think The Wire has officially made Baltimore at least a hip hop. Like people coming to Baltimore, like, yo, take me on the Wire tour. Show me the whole.
Yeah, that's because they want to see the crime, sir. They want to see the crime. That ain't about the music. That's about the crime.
Man, I told you, man. Whenever I'm on North Ave and I pass that hotel, I think of Brother Moves on Omar, man. So, I always gotta think about that. But quick question, real quick. We talked about this for a minute on one of the last episodes. I'm interested because 2 of y'all had Tribe as your number 1. L.A. Reid says there's a new Tribe album coming out. Are y'all excited for this Tribe album? Vegas D, are y'all excited for this Tribe album?
No.
I am cautiously optimistic because
I can't do it without Fife.
Well, no, it was supposed to be before Fife died.
Okay. Oh, well then, okay, I'm a little bit optimistic then.
See, my thing is, if Rolling Stone did an interview with Fife at the end of last year, and the way he sounded was like they hadn't done nothing. He's like, we can't even go on tour. How are we gonna make an album? So I'm like, how y'all get an album done between that time and the time the dude passed away? It was like 5 months.
Dude, I remember seeing them at the Rock the Bells here when they came through. It was at 2008, 2009, when I think, yeah, they were headlining. They were headlining the show. They were closing out the show. And they were doing autographs in the back, and they didn't look like they even wanted to be next to each other back there.
Yeah, I was like, Fife wanted to punch Tip in the face, yo.
All the time. This is before the documentary came out. I just remember saying this, like, yo, these are idols of mine, childhood idols of mine. They don't even look like they want to be next to each other. They supposed to be brothers, man. Yeah. You know?
I think the thing that I forgot who it was, but my man was saying how, the thing that's kind of made me like leery is that nobody from a Tribe has said anything about this album. That L.A. Reid is the one.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Tip, after Fife died, Tip could have been like, we got y'all, we got something in the works. You know what I mean? But like you said, Nick, nobody said anything. And then when a record executive comes out like, yeah, I got this Tribe album. And keep in mind, nobody, again, Q-Tip hasn't spoken on it.
Right.
So it's not like Tip was like, oh, yeah, LA's right. We got something coming. That's what really makes me more leery. That is just like, you know, is this something that y'all wanted to put out? Was this y'all just in the studio messing around? And, you know, LA is like, yo, we Fife dead.
Exactly.
We want some Tribe stuff, you know. Now we can get some sales popping or whatever. And to be honest, coming off the Love Movement, and what was that? Almost 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, if you couldn't dunk 15 years ago, you can't dunk now. So you ain't
Right.
get no more spring in your step, you know. So, but you know,
they did have one record in between them. I can't remember the name of it. It was Erykah Badu was on it.
I remember that joint. And it was cool. That joint was
it was a cool record. I think they have records, but I don't think it's anything that the group ever felt comfortable with putting out as a project. And
Right.
L.A. Reid is probably saying, yo, you know, when rappers pass away or they do movies like Straight Outta Compton,
Yeah.
buy that shit, put that stuff together, remix it, do whatever you got to do, and put it out. So that's why I'm like, shit could be garbage. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be a pleasant surprise. But they should get Kanye to help. I think Kanye could turn some of that around, and I think because shit he did it for Common. But I
problem with that is Kanye crazy now. Kanye's a
I ain't talking about, but I think as a producer, if he had to work on Tribe album, I think he would go in his old bag. He does that shit for his stuff.
Ever since he became a Kardashian, I don't trust that dude. Yeah. I don't know if Kanye know how to still turn the MPC on. Like, you know, it really bugs me out that there was a time that this dude was the dopest producer on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he remembers those times of him being the dopest.
Probably don't.
Keep in mind, he did that for Common. That had to be
2005.
Yeah, 2005. Like, this new guy, it's 2016. This is niggas in Paris Kanye. So, like I always tell people, I hope I'm wrong and I hope y'all right. I hope it's a classic Tribe album and we need it. So,
Not gonna be classic.
Yeah,
You
it's
could
not
say
gonna
L.A. Reid that if you read the interviews, they asked him about Outkast because he's been talking that shit about Outkast for about a decade.
Yeah.
He curved that question like, I have another group that everybody's going to love, a Tribe Called Quest.
right.
It's just about money. L.A. Reid, it's just about money and capitalizing.
Yeah, true indeed. All right, y'all. Good looking, Yove. Give them all the info where they can get your podcast, everything.
You can follow me on Twitter at Vegas World INC. I got a podcast. It's available on iTunes, Google Play, and all that. It's called Hip Hop Now Podcast. You can go to SoundCloud, Facebook, all that. I'm on all of it. Just Vegas World INC. Google that, and you'll just get to all of it.
All right, no doubt. Nick, give them all your stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, only one way to win, 79. Only number one, WYNN 279.
All right, no doubt. Jace, give them all your stuff too.
Twitter at Jarek Tyler. That's at JERIKTYLER. And Instagram JTyler0801.
All right, no doubt. Number one Cowboys fan in the world, Big.
What up? I don't even know my Twitter handle. What's my Twitter handle, yo?
Big.
I underscore M DKW.
D, you from Baltimore and you a Cowboys fan.
Yes, I am, sir.
How
Do I need to go into the story?
Whole nother show. Don't even touch it.
Okay.
Whole nother story. Don't. It's too late at night to try to wrap your head around this right now. So that'll be the question we start the next show with, and that way we could get it off at an earlier time to.
Right.
You know. So and y'all already know what it is with me. At Kill889. We'll make beats for food. Good looking, y'all. I'll check y'all next week, man.
Peace.
Peace.